Every day that I go to a Palestinian village, every day my colleagues go to a Palestinian city, every day Israeli activists are demonstrating shoulder to shoulder with Palestinians. This is a victory over the idea of separation. My name is Michael Sfard. I am involved in litigations on behalf of Israeli human rights organizations, peace groups, and Palestinian communities, Palestinian individuals. 15 minutes away from where I live, there is a whole community of people that have no rights whatsoever, that have no access to any of those very nice things that I can get in Israel. The Israeli democracy has only Israelis as participants. Israel has produced a large community of Israeli human rights organizations and human rights lawyers and human rights activists. It's not to take lightly the fact that young Israelis are drawn to demonstrate and to act against the violations of Palestinian rights. By definition, occupation entails the absence of civil liberties and civil rights. For the last 40 years, Israel and all the Israeli arms of government are programmed to increase Israeli domination over the lands of the West Bank. Now, the way it is done is by different means, by construction of settlements, by creating no-go areas for Palestinians, by defining areas as closed military zones, by home demolitions, and by all different means that would create the desire of Palestinians to leave areas where they live. The separation fence has a huge impact on the Palestinian economy and on its cultural and economic life. Even if accepting the idea that a fence can protect the state of Israel, a fence could be located on the green line and protect it just the same. The fact of the matter is that security was undermined and compromised for the sake of expansion of settlements. And that is the big lie of the fence. Palestinians have no freedom of movement to go out of the West Bank. They need permits for that. A system of checkpoints and blockades and blocked roads that the Israeli military has placed in more than 100 places along the West Bank made it almost impossible for Palestinians to move from one part of the West Bank to another part of the West Bank. The idea was to control the flow of movement, but the impact on the lives of people was horrendous. If there is a real problem with natural growth, it's in the Palestinian sector, because there is almost no development. 60% of the West Bank is under civilian Israeli rule, meaning that Israel, we control planning. The other 40%, by the way, is almost completely populated. They have a huge problem in finding vacant areas to build on because the state of Israel would not let them. So if there is a problem of natural growth, it's not in the settlements. The settlements have ample of opportunities in Israel. Ma'ale Adumim is one of the largest settlements in the West Bank. It is located east of Jerusalem. Ma'ale Adumim cuts the West Bank into two. If someone thinks of a viable Palestinian state in the future on the lands of the West Bank, then the existence of Ma'ale Adumim is a huge problem. And so enlarging Ma'ale Adumim is like saying we don't want a Palestinian state to ever exist. Gaza is under siege for so long now, and it went through one of the most horrendous attacks that was ever carried out by Israel on an urban, civilian populated area. The situation in Gaza is absolutely a humanitarian catastrophe. When I think of the children of Gaza, I think to myself that they would never want to live in peace with my people. And that is the biggest mistake. We always do it again and again. Instead of thinking of the future, instead of thinking how we can build trust, we do everything in our power to ruin the prospect of peace in the next generation.
Is there anything else you want to add that I haven't asked you about?
I'm very optimistic.